Welcome to Women Mastering Midlife, where we dive deep into the rich complexities of womanhood in our middle years. I'm your host, Victoria Byrd, a pharmacist, certified women's health coach, and your guide on this transformative journey. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, thriving in menopause, or mastering midlife's many transitions, this is your weekly dose of expert guidance, compassionate support, and a judgment-free space to explore it all. Together, we will rewrite the narrative around this remarkable stage from being something to dread into a beautiful transition. Hi there. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to the first month of the Women Mastering Midlife podcast in 2025. I'm so excited. I was just working out and I was brainstorming while I was stretching at the end of my workout what 2025 I really wanted it to look like for myself, for my listeners, for my clients, for my community. And one of the things I really resonated with was that we need to be stepping into our own whys. We need to be putting down the expectations of other people, our spouses, our children, our work, our family, our society. We just need to step out of all of that and have a minute and really decide what is important to us, why it's important to us, and have that be the drive for what fuels us this year instead of being led by the expectations of others. So we're going to get back to ourselves this year. We are going to decide that enough is enough. I'm tired of saying yes to things that I really don't want to say yes to. I'm tired of working out so hard that I am vomiting or shaking or not sleeping or having my heart race or hurting myself to try to fit the mold of what I think my body should look like. I'm tired of playing small. I'm tired of worrying about saying the wrong thing. I'm tired of wondering if the outline for this podcast is going to be what people want to hear. I do want to know what my listeners want to learn about, but when it comes to using my voice, I'm proud of what I have to say. I've come a long way. I've learned a lot. I have a lot of life experience. I've talked to a lot of women who feel the same way. And so, if this isn't a conversation that speaks to the masses, so be it. If I have 5 women that listen to this podcast and think, you know what? I'm tired of living small. I'm tired of living for the expectations of other people. I want to step into my truth this year. And I really want to redefine what that is for myself, then I'm doing my job. So I'm setting down, trying to make material that makes the most people pay attention or the most people agree with me. So here we go. Let's get into it this year. We're going to get back to ourselves. We're going to reclaim our whys. Today, I am going to walk you through some visioning for what this year should be for you. So first, I want you, if you're not driving, if you are driving, save this for later. Please do not close your eyes right now. But if you are sitting at a desk or at a chair or in a parking lot waiting for your kids, I want you to close your eyes for a minute. If you're walking, please don't close your eyes. I can't even walk straight with my eyes open. So please, but just think about the words I am going to say if you can drown out safely what's around you. I want you to picture yourself standing at the edge of a garden, and it's just overgrown. It has been bombarded with plants and flowers that are haphazard and random, and who knows who put them there. And I want you to think of each one of those flowers, those bushes, those shrubs, as other people's expectations. Every flower represents a should planted by someone else's hands in your life. And today, we're going to clear the garden together. We're going to make space for seeds of our own choosing. We are going to pull weeds and pull flowers that don't suit our garden. If you don't like wildflowers, if you love naturally, beautifully grown hedges, that's what we're going to plant in your garden. If you want perfectly pruned English tea roses, that's what you need in your garden. So welcome to Women Mastering Midlife 2025, ladies. We're going to be diving deep into the art of rediscovering your authentic why today. So we're going to talk first about the inherited whys, the cultural whys we do things, the societal whys we do things, the family whys we do things. You know, I took a step back from listening to the external voices. I needed headphones. I needed somebody to be my noise canceling headphones for me to figure out what was going on inside of me, muffling out all the noise. And that's what I try to do for other women. I try to create a space to drown out the external expectations and listen to your internal script. What is your dialogue? What is your voice? What is your story? Because our family has expectations on us to provide motherly roles or sisterly roles or daughter roles. Society wants us to be small, quiet, not cause a stir. They need us to keep the home, keep the family moving, be pretty, be small, be thin, not take up too much space, not ask too many questions. Those are all of the noises we need to put our noise canceling headphones on for. I think coming into midlife, being 44, I don't even know if I've fully realized how many of my goals aren't truly mine. I think it's still a work in progress. If somebody were to ask me, when was that light bulb moment when you realized that your goals might not truly be yours? I'm still getting there. I feel like we've been so brainwashed to believe that what we want is what we want, when really, in reality, it might be what other people want us to want. Maybe we really don't want to be stay-at-home moms. Maybe that's not our calling. And yet we do it because that's the expectation of our family, our spouse, our culture, our parents, following in their footsteps, how we were raised. Maybe you do want to be a stay-at-home parent and you feel trapped by the need to work or the belief that you have to work. Maybe you hear that you have always been tiny. Maybe you have women in your family that have had eating disorders or disordered body images that have caused you to feel the same way about yourself. One of the first things, to be honest, this is probably one of the hardest things for me to say out loud publicly, but I was listening to a book written by a woman. I think it was a TED Talk she gave. I need to find it and put it in the podcast notes because it's a brilliant book about how girls, they don't raise their hands in math class when they have the answer because they're either afraid that they're wrong or they're afraid to look too smart. And they pick careers that are easy. They pick the career path that comes easy to them. And I will tell you that my entire life when I was younger, I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to go into space more than anything. I was obsessed. Space Camp, favorite movie of all time. You've probably heard me talk about this. Kate Capshaw, Tate Donovan, Kelly Preston, is that her name? Joaquin Phoenix. Or no, River Phoenix. Sorry, wrong Phoenix. But I think he was Leaf. No, it was Joaquin Phoenix, but he was Leaf at the time. He changed his name to Joaquin, I think. Just like crazy names in this movie. Anyway, regardless, I was obsessed. I wanted to be an astronaut. But I wasn't shown how. I wasn't given insight from teachers or guidance counselors or, nobody helped me foster my passion. And then, I was short and then I heard I had to go into the Air Force and then I had bad eyes. There was like a million reasons why I could not be an astronaut, but nobody shared with me that I could work for NASA. Like I could have had a job working to help get other people in space. Never even crossed my mind. And when I was 16 and I wanted a job, my dad took me around and I went into Ecker Drugstore and then I got a job as a cashier in a pharmacy by happenstance. Like it wasn't even planned. It was a good paying job with decent hours after school and weekends. And I was safe. And, I was always worried about being somewhere where I would be alone at night and I didn't want to serve food. Like there were lots of things. This all worked out. It was just easy peasy. And it came easy to me, and connecting with other people came easy to me, and developing relationships with our customers, with our patients was so fulfilling. And so then I went on to be a technician after a cashier. And then I decided to go to pharmacy school because of this. And then I went through pharmacy school, and there was a lot of uphill struggles for me in pharmacy school that I never really sat and thought about, but maybe it was because it wasn't my true calling. I love English. All of my personality tests told me I should have been an English major, that I should have been a writer. And I just disregarded all of that because you can't make money as in an English major. So pharmacy seemed good. I could get a good job with a good salary and good benefits, and I was good at it, and it was easy. And that's the path I chose. But in really thinking about the very first time in my journey of life when I really didn't listen to my own inner voice and I followed external voices, I could say it was when I decided that pharmacy was what I would pursue. And I'm good at it and I love helping people. And now I have taken that knowledge and that education and that background and been able to turn it into what I have now. And I appreciate this side of healthcare, but I don't know. So do I love that I have a pharmacy background? Yes. Do I love that I am able to look at clinical data and I am able to use that to help women? Yes. Does my license allow me the opportunity to care for women in a way that I wouldn't if I don't have it? Absolutely. But what if? Like, what if I had listened to that internal voice? And so that's why we really need to start to listen to that whisper within. We need to be able to recognize the difference between the societal echoes, what people are telling us. Oh gosh, you're so good at this. Oh my gosh, you should go to school for this. Or, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. You look amazing. But let's listen to our authentic voice. Like, but you know what? I'm strong now. I did lose some weight, but what's more important? I gained the ability to walk up the stairs without becoming winded, or I can carry heavier things now because I'm lifting weights and I'm stronger. And if I gained more weight tomorrow, I would still be the remarkable person that I am today. My value, my beauty, my life isn't all tied up in my physical appearance being smaller. I try so hard not to mention people's weight loss because that's that outside societal echo taking away your internal voice. So we really need to listen to the whispers within. And I'm not trying to shame somebody out of bettering their physical appearance. I'm just saying you're so much more than that. Are you standing in front of your mirror, barely recognizing the woman looking back at you? Perhaps you're lying awake at 3 a.m., body betraying you with another hot flash or night sweat, wondering if this is just how life has to be now. As a pharmacist and women's health coach, I've walked this path, both personally and alongside hundreds of women just like you. That's why I've created 2 powerful ways to reclaim your midlife journey: the Women Mastering Midlife community and personalized one-on-one coaching. In our community, you'll find your tribe. Women who understand exactly what you're experiencing. Together, we'll navigate perimenopause and menopause with evidence-based strategies, twice monthly group coaching sessions, and a judgment-free space to share your story. But if you're craving deeper, personalized support, my one-on-one coaching program offers dedicated guidance tailored specifically to your body, your symptoms, and your life circumstances. No more Googling at midnight, no more trial and error with miracle solutions that leave you frustrated and depleted. Are you ready to transform your midlife experience? Book a free discovery call with me today. You will find the link to schedule in the show notes or check out www.womenmasteringmidlifecoaching.com for more information. In just 15 minutes, we'll explore whether community membership or one-on-one coaching aligns best with your needs, because you deserve to do more than just survive this transition. You deserve to thrive. Join us in aging boldly, beautifully, and on our own terms. And if physical appearance is why you want to lose weight, start working out, start eating better, if that's really truly the reason why, if that's your internal voice and not anyone else telling you otherwise, then that's amazing. As long as you've done the work to listen to yourself and say, okay, this is actually me. This is what I want. I want to look in the mirror and look at a body that I am proud of and that I am happy with. That's fine. But if you're chasing a body because of other people's expectations or what society thinks women should look like, you are chasing a moving target. And that's exhausting. So one of the things that I suggest is like listening to your body, right? Because I think if you sit and you spend time with your whispers, your internal whispers, you're going to feel physically aligned with things. You know, like trust your intuition. If your gut is making you feel queasy or you're shaking or you're just quivering with the idea, then maybe that's not your true purpose. But if you can stand proud in what you're saying and what you're believing and what you're doing and why you're doing it, then you're aligned and your physical body will tell you that. So listen to your inner voice, listen to your body, quiet the external noise. If you don't know how to be able to discern between, okay, this is really me versus this is other people's expectations, take some time to reflect in the morning. Journal, have quiet time, light a candle, drink some tea, drink some coffee. Journal. If you need some journal prompts for deeper connection with yourself, comment on this podcast, reach out to me, send me an email. I will send you some journal prompts to help you develop that deeper connection with yourself to really get into your why. And then create some sacred space for yourself for inner listening. If it's your bedroom, if it's your car, if it's a closet, if it's the couch, just carve out a space of quiet and peace for yourself so that we can stop the constant people pleasing. Because it comes at a really high cost. It comes at the cost of our dreams and our ambitions. And it comes at the cost of our health and our well-being. Because no matter how healthy you are, if you are living for other people and you're not living for yourself at all, that's going to weigh on you. That's going to affect your health. So we are going to break free from the good girl narrative that many of us have been told, oh, you're such a good girl. When I heard people that were older saying that to my young daughters, it's like, ugh, it would make me so mad. It would make me so mad. The good girl narrative needs to just be put to pasture. Stop telling people they're good girls. You're such a good girl. You're so quiet. You're such a good girl. You listen to your mom and dad. You're such a good girl for cleaning up your room. Or, oh, look, you made dinner. What a good girl. I'm over it. I'm sorry. Then I don't want to be a good girl anymore. Done. So let's stop the constant people pleasing. Let's start listening to our own ambitions and our own dreams. Let's set some boundaries around our time, saying no, or no, that doesn't speak to me. These are my internal values. This is important to me, and this is not speaking to me. And we're going to stop using the word selfish. It's okay to be self-centered every now and then. We are not selfish. We're self-full. So if you have a pen and paper handy, again, if you're not driving or walking anywhere that you can harm yourself, take out a piece of paper and write yourself a permission slip to stop disappointing others. Like you have a permission slip, a free hall pass, that the choices that you make, regardless of the disappointment of others, if you're staying true to yourself, are okay. So we're going to start talking about our authentic whys. We're going to start bringing them into life, okay? So we've broken free from the good girl narratives. We're quieting the external noise. We're listening to our internal whispers, and we are going to come up with our authentic whys. Why do we want to get healthy? Why do we want to change our nutrition? Why do we want to get up every morning? Why do we want to stay home with our kids? Why do we want to go to work? Why, why are you here living this one precious, beautiful life? And we're going to talk about it. I want you to just, if you still have that piece of paper, let's think about some things. Like, what lights you up when no one's watching? If you're in the car by yourself, are you singing at the top of your lungs? Are you listening to a fiction novel? If you're at home, are you dancing around your kitchen? Are you baking cookies? Are you running? Like, what is it that lights you up? Even if nobody's watching to give you credit for doing something, what do you do? What would you do if fear wasn't in the driver's seat? If you weren't afraid of failing, which is huge for me, huge for women. If you weren't afraid of failing, if you weren't afraid of disappointing other people, what would you do? If you took over the driver's seat, threw fear out the window, put her in the trunk, whatever, what would you do? And which dreams have you buried to keep peace? I listened to a podcast a while ago talking about how women don't know how to have fun because we put all that down to be the task drivers, to be the get your homework done. I have to make dinner. I have to drive to this activity and this activity. And I have to, I don't know how to have fun anymore because I'm too busy making sure everyone stays on task. So I don't have time to dream anymore. I'm too busy with this. And if I were to say, I want to put down this tasking, I want to put down being the person in charge of getting everybody to point A or point B, like, what have you been burying just so that everybody else around you is happy? What if you really wanted to start a new business? Or what if you really wanted to quit your job and go work somewhere else? Or you wanted to just write a book. You wanted to put time aside for that for yourself, but you're too afraid that your boss will get mad or your spouse will be angry with you or your friends will think you're nuts and you're having a midlife crisis. What if you want to take a pole dancing class downtown or even a Pilates class? It doesn't have to be as crazy as pole dancing. What if you want to take a hip hop class on Friday nights by yourself, without your spouse, without your kids? And other people need to figure out what they're doing with other people need to figure out how, your husband or your spouse or your extra help need to figure out how to get your kids from school or to their activities, or, it's an additional cost on the family budget. What if that's your dream though, that you've always dreamt of dancing like that? You want to know how? You haven't danced like that since middle school. I still remember those St. Clair dances in Cleveland in middle school. I don't dance like that anymore. But what have you buried? What dreams have you thought about? Like, gosh, I've always dreamed of going into space. Seriously, I'm going to look into it. If space camp is something that adults can go do, I'm digging into it. We went to NASA. We went to Cape Canaveral on Mother's Day a few years back because we were in Disney World. And I made a point that I was like, you know what, Mother's Day? I want to go to space. I want to go to Cape Canaveral. And we did. And it was amazing. It's like the best Mother's Day I've had because I was like, that's it. I'm doing this. This is my day. This is what I want to do. Everybody had fun, but like I got to see all these things. It was just amazing. So let's create a vision that serves your soul, not the conditioning that we've been living under. So if you have created an idea in your mind, okay, so I want to pursue this dream. It's only a dream until you start thinking in practical ways, right? We're going to go from vision to action. What are some practical steps moving forward that you need to take to get there, including resistance? Who are you going to have resisting you? Time, money, family? What is going to be a barrier for you? When I work with clients on any kind of goal, on any kind of why, we all have to have a conversation about what are the roadblocks that you're going to come up with in the next couple weeks till we talk. Because if you know ahead of time what's coming down the road, you can detour, right? Like back in the day when we used to print Google Maps out to try to figure out how to get somewhere, the idea of like looking at a piece of paper and driving right now is terrifying to me, but that used to be how we got around. I told my kids that and they were terrified. When you print out your map and your directions, it'll tell you that there's a detour ahead because there's construction or pothole or, there's going to be a football game at the Seahawks stadium. So I-5 North is going to be a disaster. Let's take this bypass instead. These are things that you think about ahead of time when you're making a plan. So if you're planning for goals, if you're planning for your life, what are some things that are going to come up for you? Time constraints, money constraints. Well, I still have to get kids home from school. I got to figure that out. I mean, like there are reasons. There are roadblocks. So what do we need to do to get moving forward? And those are the things that I work with clients. So if it feels like now you're all pumped and you have this vision and you have this dream that you always wanted to live and you don't know how to get there, then maybe working with a coach is something that's important to think about for this year. Someone that can help you navigate the roadblocks, cheer you on, hold your feet to the fire, all the things. And that brings you to the idea that we need to build your circle of truth tellers, your web of support. Who are the people who are going to cheer you on? Who are the people who aren't naysayers, but are realistic? Like, I see that this is something that you want. Let's take a health why. Like, okay, I want to have better blood work. My cholesterol's out of control. I'm pre-diabetic. My blood pressure's up. I have to get this under control. I want to be around. I want to be active. I don't want to be on medication my whole life. This is my why. Okay, so now we've created your vision of where you want to be. You want to be healthier and what you want. You want to get off the meds or not start meds. You want your cholesterol, your blood pressure to be down. You want your hemoglobin A1C to be normal. So let's talk about the practical steps of moving forward. And let's build the people around you that are going to support your dream, that are going to support your vision. If it's starting a new business, you need the people around you that are going to cheer for you, be proud of you for taking that step, reminding you it's okay to fail. You're going to fail forward. There's also the realistic friends or family members like, have you given any thought to XYZ? That's not being a naysayer. That's not like, oh, you can't do that. It's, I believe that you can do this. Have you thought about this, this, and this coming up? And then we're going to celebrate those small acts of courage, those small wins as you get along your way. If it's health and fitness, we're going to celebrate each and every week that you decide to go for a walk. We're going to celebrate each and every time you add a vegetable to your plate. We're going to celebrate each and every time you make sure you have protein. Those are things that we're going to celebrate. And they don't even need to be restrictive things. If you want to write a book, we're going to celebrate every time you hit 10 pages written. Or you want to write a book? Today, let's talk about a topic. You hit your topic, let's talk about an outline. We're going to get you to that book. And we're going to celebrate every single step along the way. Maybe if it's even just, I picked the characters' names today. That's a huge win. That's something to celebrate. And so those are just as important. Like we cheer our kids on when they write their letters for the first time, when they do well on a test they've studied hard for, when they get their driver's license, when they win a football game, when they lose a football game, but they still made a good tackle or they scored a touchdown. We are there cheering our kids on. We're cheering our kids on when it's good. We're cheering our kids on when it's bad. We need to cheer on ourselves. We need to have people in our corner to cheer for us. So now we have all of our pieces into place. And I want you to think about your future self. Okay? I want you to think about your future self in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And I want you to think about her having embraced this authentic why, this putting down the expectations of others and drowning out the noise. And I want you to look at her And what does she look like? Is she standing proud? Is she tall? Is she smiling? Maybe she's a little bit weathered because it's not going to be easy. But what does your future self look like after you've embraced letting go of other people's whys and start living for yourself? And I bet you that she is going to be gosh darn proud that you listened to this and you took action. So if you have time today, tonight, right now, I want you to write a letter from your 80-year-old self celebrating the courage it took to do this. Imagine being 80 years old and and having lived your authentic self, your authentic why since today. What would she say to you? I can guarantee you she'd be proud. We only have one life, ladies. I'm 44 now. So if I'm halfway through my life, I lived 88. Thinking that you're not in midlife yet, that you're not that old, you're fooling yourself. We are here. We are in the middle of it. And I think that it's time that we start recognizing that our intentions and our internal voice is just as important as everyone else's. And it doesn't have to come as a sacrifice to those people around you that's like so life-altering to them. You can fit it in. You can prioritize yourself. Let me know what that letter looks like. Let me know your dreams. Share with me, comment, find me on social media, send me a DM, comment below this podcast recording. I want to know. I want women to share with each other what their dreams are, what they've always wanted to do. I shared mine. It's kind of nerdy. And I stand by it. One of my dreams was to create a podcast, and I sat on it for years. I had the Women Mastering Midlife podcast name locked on Spotify for like 2 or 3 years and did nothing with it. Just kept checking every now and then to make sure it was still there. Because I was so afraid of what people listening would think, what my husband would say, that this is like a dream I want to pursue, what my kids would say, especially if they felt like I was sharing things that were too private for them, or people would say, "Oh, I heard your mom's podcast." I've had people come up to me and tell me they love my podcast, and it warms my heart, but I still have moments of like kind of embarrassed, like, "Oh yeah, I do that, don't I?" I get on a microphone and a camera and I share my vulnerabilities and I ask questions and talk about things that are kind of embarrassing and things that people don't want to talk about. And I shed light on subjects that are kind of quiet for some people. So I still look back at the girl dreaming 3 years ago of having a podcast and I think, gosh, I'm proud of her for doing this. It's not, I don't have a billion listeners. I'm not winning any podcast awards today. But gosh, I'm having fun. And I'm proud of her for taking that step, investing the time, investing the money in the coaching to help me get here, investing in somebody to help me edit this silly thing. Because trust me, I cannot do the technical stuff. So I took that leap and I'm proud of her for doing that because this is not a normal thing. This is kind of weird and it's definitely outside my comfort zone. So what are your dreams? Share them with me. Send me messages. I want to hear them. I want to see them. I'm very excited as we step into 2025. We are not making resolutions to fit in our jeans from high school. We are redefining our whys for ourselves. That is what 2025 is going to be about. So here is to putting down the expectations of other people. Here is putting down the worries that we are too much, to ask too many questions, stand too boldly in our space. Done. So until next week, journal, think about your dreams, think about what it's going to take to get there. And I would be oh so happy to be cheering you on along the way. Thanks so much for joining me today. We will be back next week for another episode of Women Mastering Midlife. Until then, find us on Instagram at Women Mastering Midlife or Miss Victoria Byrd, and join us in the Women Mastering Midlife community to continue our discussions. You'll find links to what you've heard here today, as well as ways to connect with us in the show notes below. This podcast is intended for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. Please note the hosts, guests, and experts featured on this podcast are not your personal healthcare providers, life coaches, or advisors. The content should not be considered as professional, personalized medical, psychological, or prescriptive advice. This podcast is not a substitute for consulting your physician, therapist, local pharmacist, or relevant professionals to discuss your specific concerns and situation. The topics discussed should not be used as the sole basis to diagnose or treat any medical condition, make significant life changes, or make important decisions regarding your health otherwise. Women Mastering Midlife is not responsible for any undesired outcomes resulting from actions taken based on the information provided in this podcast. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests only and do not represent any of those other individuals or entities. Always consult with qualified professionals before making significant changes to your health regimen, lifestyle, or medical plans.